My name's Emily. I just came from the United States to here in Germany. I found out early on that my son was diagnosed with ectodermal around 15 weeks. We did an amniocentesis, which confirmed this rare condition that my father actually has, and he cannot sweat, and he has loss of teeth, and it affects a lot of other issues as well. He can't sweat, so summertime, it's really, really difficult for him to be out in the heat. He's always into water sports, and he always gets his shirt wet and gets his hat wet. Sometimes he'll just go in and get his shorts wet too. Might as well just get all wet. So to help keep him cool, he's learned to cope with, but it's been quite difficult watching my dad growing up and seeing the issues like he has.
Yeah. As we heard, like, the summer's getting hotter and things like that. It's going to be more perhaps an issue in the
There's
future.
been lots of days, lots of hot summer days, especially when the weather's like in the 90s, 100s, and then dry heat too. He would just be standing next to the air conditioning, and my parents had like a little water hookup to the air conditioning, and so he was like also like getting a little spray, so he'd get a little perspiration from that. But
cool down.
Yeah.
So you decided to come to Erlangen because have you heard? Did you do a Google search? How did you find out Erlangen was the place to be?
My family has kind of like always followed the study from like when they were doing it as the study like as adults. They were trying to see if it helped them at all with improvements, and then they did it with children, and we followed the study from the beginning. And the NFED obviously gives a lot of resources and information out there that my family, like all of us, are very kind of like follow it because we want to know, like like my parents, they were worried about their grandchildren. And so I've kind of always been aware, and it always
that Erlangen existed. And it was
I didn't know exactly where it was, but
there was research happening here that was important in this area.
Exactly.
Okay. So how has the pandemic affected your trip?
It has affected my trip for sure. I've had 8 COVID tests now.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's quite a big number. And it's just, thankfully, with Professor Dr. Snyder, like, did a lot of the getting the pre-approval for me to travel, really helped to come to Germany. In my small town airport, they're not used to international traveling, especially with like the pandemic happening, and they originally denied me coming, and so I had to fight them and just keep fighting with them until they finally let me go. The treatment, first off, the process is they do it like an amniocentesis, kind of where they inject some fluid in. They do take a little bit of fluid out, but then they inject this protein that's gonna, and the hopes is to help my child to be able to sweat. And so he swallows the medication as long as he collaborates with the doctors and everybody else in the room. He's supposed to swallow it, and that's how he's supposed to be able to receive the medication. And the hopes is for like my son that he'll be able to have some sweat glands and be able to not go through what my dad has gone through.
By January 2016, we had shown that the drug can cure animals affected by XLHED. And we also knew that in humans, the drug needed to be administered many weeks before birth, at the time when the sweat glands actually develop. The parents who had read about our successful animal experiments asked us for compassionate use of the drug to help their babies. This was considered by our team and also by the ethics committee. And finally, we took the chance to treat the babies prenatally. I think we were able to correct the most important issue, the sweating disability. And now the next step is to confirm this in a larger clinical trial.
So how would you describe your overall experience with the University Hospital Erlangen?
So far, it's been great. Everybody's been really friendly. Everyone's worked with me, and I have nothing but positive things to say.
Yeah. Sounds like you've been very looked after, that the details have been sorted out with the travel. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I feel supported.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. More than supported, yes.
Yeah.